Melbourne, Sydney, Brisbane, Lords, and now Oval. Fair to say that the Indian cricket team is inarguably experiencing a fine year with respect to playing overseas. When Umesh Yadav got the better of James Anderson on the final day of the Oval Test, India completed their second Test victory on a tour of England for the first time since 1986. Leading 2-1, India stand a chance to secure a Test series win in England for the first time in 14 years. Would India be able to seal the deal at Old Trafford, or an England fight back is on the cards? Well, one thing is for sure, that the fans can't wait for the action to begin. Hello and welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the 21st episode of Cricket Spectacle. I'm Siddharth Gulati, and as always, I have Nikhil Deshpande. And to talk more on India's victory at the Oval and the upcoming fifth and final test, we are joined by the former India spinner, Mr. Arshad Ayub. So it's good to have you back. And I'm sure that you would have been all smiles after witnessing such a brilliant performance from this Indian team, weren't you?
Thank you so much. Yes, it is good to see that India are doing well on the foreign soil, and especially they are now, I think they are getting into the habit of doing well on foreign soil, and that's a very good. I think it's a good encouragement for all the former cricketers as well, the youngsters who are coming up who are now having the aspiration to play for the country. I think they will really feel that that now we are on the probably one of the leading countries in the world who can do well on the foreign soil.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's what possibly I would say the two Test series wins, consecutive Test series wins in Australia has possibly, I think, laid the platform that it's I think it's the start of something new for this Indian cricket team, that yes, we can expect now consistent wins in overseas. So yeah,
it is true, and one important aspect is that if you look at the present Indian team, they have matured themselves on playing foreign soils, and the way they have carried themselves, although sometimes they falter, but most of the time they're doing really well. And I think it's a learning process still, but I think as we go on in the future also, we'll see that the players who are going to come in, they will also have the experience to play on the foreign soil, because a lot of our India 18 are playing on all the foreign soils, and this is really helping them when they come into the main side, and they can cope up with all this pitch movement, whether it is lateral movement, whether it is swing in the air, all these things, they are getting to experience much earlier in their life, and they are settling down when it comes to the test cricket.
Right. Absolutely.
I think one thing which Sir mentioned is like very evident with the current Indian team as well, that it is maturing now. Especially Rishabh Pant. I mean, I know the other players are probably more highlighted, but Rishabh Pant's innings in the last innings, in the second innings, was a more un-Rishabh Pant-like innings, where he was not making. Yeah, it was a good change. I absolutely love that innings, because I was just hoping that he doesn't play a rash shot at any time, but he played through till the 50, and then once Shardul got out, and then he had to then accelerate. That's fine, but the whole partnership with Shardul as well, and how they carried the innings through and added those extra 50 to 80 runs, which probably would not have happened unless Pant and Shardul took us through there. That kind of shows, right? Like the team, which even our aggressive player like Rishabh Pant, who is naturally more flamboyant, wants to hit his shots when needed, he can show that element of maturity, and that's what builds winning teams, right? Like aggressiveness is one thing, but like you mentioned, maturity is what is going to win you matches and series away from home. So yeah, absolutely.
It's true, very true. That the thing is that if you look at Rishabh Pant, earlier, if you look earlier, Rishabh Pant used to go out and try to whack everyone out and try to get those scores. And then suddenly when he gets out, the next inning would be totally defensive.
Yeah.
And then, he used to get out then also. But this particular inning, what you're talking about is, it's quite a matured inning, the way he played, the way he carried himself. And I think the way he and Shardul, that 100 runs partnership, I think that put us in the limelight actually.
Right. Yep.
And I think, we, because of these two, we actually, I think the whole team felt confident that, yes, now we can win this game. And we have the runs to back it up. And I think, that's how we should go for it. And I think, Rishabh's career has been, no doubt about it, flamboyant. And he played a major role, if you see that even in Australia.
Yeah.
He played a major role. Now, that boy is not only batting well, but he's keeping well now.
Yes.
He's doing well as a wicketkeeper. I think, we have now finally got a replacement for MS Dhoni. And I think this boy is doing really well. My appreciation goes for the way he has matured during this very short time.
Yeah.
And he's showing a lot of grit there. And doing things which are required to be done for the team, which is very, very important.
Yeah.
I think that's quite a bit of an I would say changeover from what he was.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And he has done that while maintaining the whole chirpiness behind the wicket as well, continuously keeps speaking, but doesn't leave the ball anymore. Like he keeps hold of the ball as well, which is pretty good because like you mentioned, we needed someone to replace that MS Dhoni mold. And as a batsman, probably Rishabh Pant already had that element, but to keep wickets in test cricket with the concentration and, one catch can literally change a match. You drop Joe Root and that's your match. So that's very important, the concentration levels and the whole maturity element which has come into his game for sure.
Yeah. And I think there's also a good backstory behind this, that we remember that after the IPL 2020, last year in UAE, so Pant was dropped for the limited over series against Australia. There were, some reports that, probably there were some issues with this fitness. But I think since then, since that Melbourne test, when India drew the series and then eventually went on to win the series 2-1, I think we have seen a completely different Pant altogether. Then whether it was the home series at England and now, this series, away series, I think it's been, possibly a changed Pant that we have seen. And also, I think some responsibility, the captainship responsibility that he got from Delhi Capitals,
Yes.
I think that also makes a player a lot mature, because you are very much now, in command of the team. You have to take those right decisions both on and off the field. And I think that definitely makes a player a lot mature.
True, in the sense that, as far as Rishabh is concerned, I will say that, he was, happy let you go, like, go bang, bang and come down and never used to think about it. But suddenly, I think, the responsibility slowly is getting into him. And he feels that he's responsible for a match to be the one, or, the changeover in the team. So he is now feeling that. And, it happens to every cricketer. It's not only about him. It happens to most of the cricketers that, initially it's all about them. And then later on it becomes the team. And that's when they started, taking the responsibility. And Rishabh was, a guy initially, when you look at him, he seems to be, the way he used to work out his, cricket, is that, he wants to be a little arrogant in the way he wants to behave. And he used to put that pressure on the opposition all the time. Like, playing big shots. Straight away playing big shots, he used to put the pressure. And if you look at it, let us go back into time for Viv Richards. That's what his style was. So once he comes in, he wants to, dominate the bowler, play some terrific shots, and then, start with that, and then the bowler is under pressure. Then slowly settle down, get those big hundreds to win for the West Indies. And I think Rishabh is now learning.
Yeah.
Still learning, but I think he's on the right path. And I feel that the discussion what we are having about it, it's very important that this guy, if he matures up, because he seems to be the future captain. He seems to be the guy who is going to he is going to be there for quite some time.
Yeah.
The way he plays, the way he approaches the game is quite different. He's more like Kohli, I would say, not MS, but he's more like Kohli in his approach, the way he goes about in his business. And it's good for the game. It's very positive. It's good for the game, and people are like that. It can really leave a good impression on the complete team.
Yes. I absolutely agree with that, though, because like you mentioned with Rishabh as well earlier, when he came out, he had that approach of let's dominate from the start. And I think a part of it also comes from playing a lot of cricket on Indian pitches, which are like flat. You can just come out and just start swinging. There's no much movement, not much bounce.
Yes.
And once you go to outside countries, like even in Australia, I think to be fair, I honestly thought that he got away with some of the things which he did on Australian pitches, because it was slightly flatter compared to other countries maybe, and he got away with few, like he reverse sweep someone, a fast bowler. I don't remember who the bowler was, but
James Anderson. That happened in India only.
No, he did it in Australia as well. That's why I remember.
No, that did not happen with any of the fast bowlers in Australia. It happened in India during England's tour earlier this year.
Oh, is it? Okay, yeah. But yeah, that's those kind of things you get away with on a flat wicket. On an English wicket, you do that and you'll probably be heading back to the pavilion as well. But
what's happening is that sorry to interrupt. What's happening is that Rishabh is one guy who on a hard track, where there is a bounce, where there is no lateral movement, he'll be very successful. Very successful. Even if it is a quick wicket, because he loves to play the quick bowlers and he likes that. But once you have a lateral movement, then it becomes swing and a lateral movement after that. Then he will have a little bit of a problem outside the off stump. We have seen that in this particular scene. Getting out to Robinson so many times. We have seen that. But I think, as we go on, we will learn that.
Yes.
Most of our batsmen had that problem, chasing the ball outside the off stump. Most of us, our batsmen have that problem. Initially, if you look at it, they were not really taking out the hand. Now, suddenly we saw that, they're taking out the hand, and that's where they are edging.
Right.
But luckily for us, this particular inning, there was nothing in the pitch, and they stood there, they played, and they got a lot of runs, and that's something we required at that particular time. So I think, as far as Rishabh is concerned, I think as we go on, I think he will learn to play well in England, and I think that will make a big difference to his career.
Absolutely. I think I have a question, sir, that let's just talk about Vikram Rathod, our batting coach. So what do you feel, how big of a role has he played in the resurgence of say someone like Rohit Sharma and even KL Rahul, both of who have been the standout batters for India so far in the series?
I think you cannot take away the credit from them, because they have been working day in and day out with the team, and definitely they play a big role. But I would say that overall scenario, I think Ravi, even for that matter, Bharat and all that, the discussions what they have with the players makes a huge difference there. And yes, Rahul, if you see that today in Rahul, what he's playing, the way he's playing, his hands are much closer, and he's not poking out, and he's much more, what I saw his earlier in 2014-15, the Rahul used to be, very compact Rahul, and I'm seeing that now. He's got back that, and I think it is really good for India that, this guy is playing well. See, as far as Rohit is concerned, Rohit is a gifted player. Rohit has always been a player where he can control the game.
Yeah.
And he knows that. He knows that. And you see, unfortunately, sometimes he plays some shot which doesn't really, comes out well, and he gets out. But that's how it is. He can control the game. He has got that capacity to be there on the wicket, to make a big 100. And as I told earlier, also in my talk earlier, that Rohit is the one guy who will change the game always. And he's once he gets 100, then India will stand a very good chance to win that test match, because he plays a very important role at that place. Playing batting, opening, and then getting 100, it sets the team up. It sets the team up, and it does definitely, help the team to get those victories what we require. And Rohit, I think, mainly I would say that, as I discussed earlier also, that, the mental ability of Rohit we are talking about, I think he has got that really good head on his shoulder. And if you look at it, he doesn't get disturbed anyway, anytime.
Yes.
And, he gets beaten, or if he gets, really into trouble and all that, he doesn't get worried about it. He comes back and he plays well. And that's the Rohit, the natural, character who has got the cricketing compose to handle that. I think he's one of the great players India has produced. I think he has to offer a lot of cricket for India. Although for test matches, this probably was the first 100 outside the country, especially in England. So I think this is good. This is really good for him, and the way he's batting and all that. I think we are lucky to have him in our side.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just staying with India's batting, I'll take one more question before I switch into the cricket. So, we saw that Ravindra Jadeja was being promoted to number 5, and I think it was Vikram Rathod only who mentioned that it's important that we maintain the left-right combination. So and of course with Jadeja, I think there's this one thing that we have seen over the years, that it's like if you are betting on a player, you bet big. So do you see this becoming a trend in the tests to come?
I don't agree with that, actually.
No.
See, in here, if you look at it, Jadeja batting at that place doesn't make any sense. He was batting well at number 7. He was batting really well.
Yeah.
So why do you disturb him? See, if Rahane was getting a little bit in trouble, promote Rishabh instead of Jadeja. Jadeja was getting runs there, and he was just keeping India from a lot of trouble, getting those 50s and those 40s and all that. I don't think I'll agree on that. That I feel is not a really good move. See, Rahane has been doing really well for India for quite some time.
Yeah.
Given the exposure, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if he fails in one inning. He gets back. See, if you look at every series, he gets 100, and he gets 100 at the right time. Let him be there. Let him take the responsibility. Yes, maybe there is a thought process in the team that maybe a left-hander and a right-hander might change the bowling line, and it might affect their effectiveness as far as the bowlers are concerned. But I don't agree with Jadeja. Jadeja was at the right place, because he always is at that place where the new ball is gone off, and that he goes there, settles down, then he plays the second new ball, and then gets those runs. So I think Jadu was playing at the right place. I don't agree with this place changing. See, sometimes what happens with that is that in a team, you won't have a left-hander. You will always have a right-hander to play. they are good batsmen. They have to play. So if they are failing, then I think you need a replacement rather than the changing over. I think it is something which we need to understand that and move forward. Yeah, if you have a really good left-hander who fits into that place, and then maybe he's coming in and batting, then it's fine.
Yeah.
Why change a player who's already getting runs, who's being successful, and then you're putting him under pressure? Well, he's an all-rounder. You don't make him a batsman to put that pressure on him. Well, I think, that's where I think, we made a small mistake there. But being on the batting, I would like to say about Shardul Thakur. This guy has changed the Indian batting lineup. We found an all-rounder in him. We were also talking about, he getting some useful runs and getting 1 or 2 wickets all the time. But this guy seems to, bat so well. What I've seen, the way he batted, he batted like a absolutely, number 3 batsman. The way he shaped up himself, the way his bat was facing the ball, all those things were, of a great quality batsman. And he really did that. And I think, hats off to him. And he put actually India in a place, even in the first innings, look at that, 190 what we got because of him.
Yeah.
The way he batted,
Yes.
we got that 190 because of him. Otherwise, we would have been all of somewhere around the 120.
Yeah.
And we would have been in a very vulnerable position. But I think he did really well. And he got the right wicket at the right time. Your Root's wicket at the right time, and gave us the boost and to win the game. I think he did really well. I think he did really well. And hats off to Shardul the way he played.
And not to forget Rory Burns' maiden breakthrough in the second innings. I think that basically set the game up for India because he was the one who got India's first wicket.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think I was very surprised that not too surprised, but I was a bit surprised that he didn't get the man of the match, Shardul Thakur. He kind of deserved just for his overall gameplay through the match. Like it was the first innings, then he bowled a bit, then again the second innings where he batted so well, and the last innings where he bowled in the fourth and got the important wicket of Joe Root as well. I honestly thought that he would get the man of the match, and I understand why Rohit got it. But even if you ask Rohit, I'm pretty sure he'll be happy to give it to Shardul probably.
Both of them deserve it, definitely.
Yeah.
Shardul and Rohit both deserve it. I think they should have announced a joint man of the match. Man of the match, I would say. But yeah, you're right in saying that the way he has contributed, Shardul, I think definitely, he was also in the lead to get the man of the match. Rohit, because he set up the innings, I think that made the difference for the Indian team, and he was the one who actually started the recovery back, and I think that made the difference. So that's why I think maybe the emphasis was given on him, but nothing less for Shardul. I think he also deserves the man of the match.
We'll give him the cricket spectacle man of the match on our behalf. So Shardul, if you're watching, you are our man of the match. And speaking about the tail enders and the bowlers of India, though, I think there should be a mention of how good that 6-over spell was from Jasprit Bumrah. I think that was on that pitch to do that. There's no words for it, right? Like when you watch it, I can watch that 6 overs again for like another 5 times, and I'll still not believe how good some of that bowling was, because on that pitch, there was nothing in the pitch, right? Like literally there was nothing. And he bowled so well that it literally changed the game on its head, right? Like what my question to probably you, sir, is that, is he the best in the world right now, the best fast bowler in the world? Would you put him right at number 1?
I would say one of the best, because there are few, but one of the best, I would say. Bumrah has been doing really well for quite some time, and we can rate him at least in 1 or 2. And the first 2, I think, probably. See, if you look at it, that in today's time also, the way Bumrah is bowling, especially when you say that, the second inning, the way the 6 overs he has bowled,
Yeah.
I think, he surprises you time and again.
Yes.
He
Yes.
surprises you time and again because, he bowls that spell.
Yes.
And he always gets those 1 or 2 wickets in those spells, and he changed the complexion of the game completely.
Completely.
And hats off to that boy. The way he bowls, and he surprises us by doing that.
Yes.
But I should mention one thing is here that a really good comeback for Umesh.
Yes.
Really good comeback for Umesh. The way he bowled, the way he was shaping up the ball,
Yes.
and the way Umesh is not as accurate as the others. But this particular test match, he bowled very accurately. And he bowled a really good line.
Yeah.
And I have seen him bowling for quite some time. And this is probably one of the best he has bowled after a long time.
Yes.
And I think the second new ball really did it. The way he bowled with the second new ball really did it. And the first new ball in the first.
Yes.
I think, both these times, Umesh has excelled himself and bowled really well.
Yeah.
And I actually gave that India that, little boost which they required at the time. Bumrah has always been there. Bumrah comes up with surprises. Bumrah bowls some really unplayable balls.
Yes.
And without Shami being there, he has to bear the load of everything without Ishant and Shami being there. And he did really well. And Bumrah, yes, I think, what you're saying is right, that at this point of time, you can say that, because the other guy who can come to my mind is Anderson, but Anderson at the age of 39 is still producing balls which can get wickets. That is something which is unbelievable. And the way he bowls still at 137, 140, 139, and I think, great fast bowler. 600 plus wickets, 30 wickets, and plus still he's going very strong. Bowling a 37-over spell, unbelievable.
Yeah.
At that age, bowling the 37-over spell, unbelievable. So I think, Bumrah and Anderson goes very close together in today's world. But I think, yes, he's I think very soon he'll become the number 1 bowler in the world, the way he's bowling. And I think he has got if he keeps himself fit, he has the ability to break so many records.
Yeah, I think he broke one this match as well. Fastest 200 wickets for India as well, which is 24 matches, which is, if you think about it, that's more than 4 wickets a wicket.
Yeah. I mean, really good, really.
Yeah, I mean, I was just talking to one of my friends when England were batting, and we were just discussing how can we win this match, because there was not much before the start of the 5th day as well. There's nothing in the pitch, right? And we were just discussing how Bumrah could be the key. And my friend mentioned, or I mentioned, I don't remember. One of us said, "But what is Bumrah going to do? There's nothing in the pitch as well. How much can he possibly do?" And then he goes on bowls that Yorker to Yorker, right? Johnny Bairstow, and you don't need the pitch for that. You don't need any pitch. You bowl a Yorker, it's fine on ice. You can bowl it on a highway. A Yorker is a Yorker, and that like you said, he produces those things which you don't expect. Like you don't expect on a flat deck someone bowling that beautiful Yorker at such an important situation as well, and that kind of shows how good he is, because if the ball is not doing anything, I'll just bowl a Yorker.
Bowler. If you look at it, he's a very thinking bowler. Yeah. He always keeps on thinking. He mixes up his pace. He bowls off cutter. Suddenly he bowls an off cutter, and you can see that in one day games he does a lot of those off cutters in the one day game, slow balls and all that. He's a very thinking bowler. And that's, I think, probably the virtue which, if the fast bowlers have, I think they become lethal. With that virtue, they become lethal. And that's what he is. He's got a very good thinking mind. And that's the reason he comes up successful every time.
Yeah, I think the variety, like you mentioned as well, because like if there's a dead wicket, there's only so many things you can do, right? You can keep bowling the good line and length. There's nothing which is going to come out of it. You need to mix it up, keep the batsman guessing as well, which is doing so well. And I think Kohli mentioned how when the ball started reversing a bit, Bumrah came up to him and just said, "Give me the ball, I'll do it." And that kind of responsibility, I think we touched upon it earlier with the batsman as well. Like there's a sense of responsibility for each and every player. Like that Rohit Sharma is going to stand up. He's going to do his best. Then there are people like Shardul, Thakur who are going to stand up. Rishabh, Pant who is going to stand up with the bowling. Umesh Yadav did so well, like you mentioned. Bumrah, he's the leader. I mean, the leader of the bowling attack, and he did so well. When such a good package now with this series, especially, we have that set good chemistry, right? Do you reckon we would be looking at making any changes for the final test heading into Manchester?
Manchester, Old Trafford has always been a bit of a help for the spinners. It has always been. But being the season we are in September, and in North, September is quite wet actually.
Yeah.
So if you have a full game, and normally it's a slightly dry wicket, drier than the normal other wicket. Old Trafford has always been like that.
Yep.
But seeing that maybe there might be one change which India can look at. Maybe they can probably rest Siraj for this match and bring in Ashwin for this match. That's a possibility.
Yes.
Or that is one thing which they can look at it. And I think the rest of the team has settled themselves. They are doing well. I don't find any other change in the team. And the way everybody has taken up the responsibility, I don't find any changes in the team. Especially in this last test match, no surprises should be there. Because they have to either win the match or draw the match so that they can come back successfully winning the series. I think they need to be thinking in those lines. So if they think that probably there is a slight dryness in the wicket with not much of moisture, they might have to go with Ashwin.
Yes.
2 spinners and 3 fast bowlers, they might have to go. They might look at that.
Yes.
If you see that Siraj didn't get much to bowl, if you look at it, probably 14 overs in the second inning, and I think another 12 overs in the first inning or something like that, 10 overs. So I think he didn't get to bowl much. But anyway, I think this particular match, traditionally it does spin, especially in the last inning, it does spin there here. So let us see. I think in one change, I'm predicting one change. But one thing is which I wanted to mention was that England has always been one team that we have been seeing that without Ben Stokes and all that, they're falling like 9 pins in the second inning.
Yes.
They take the pressure so much, and they have not been batting well in the second inning. Once you get 1 or 2 wickets, then you're sure to get another 3-4 wickets on the trot. Yes. So that's what is happening, and that's what England is doing. Yep. They bat well for a certain time, and then suddenly you find that you are getting frequent wickets, and that's where England is not holding up.
Yeah,
absolutely. I think one thing which I personally believe that England is exactly opposite of India in terms of mentality right now. Like India is always, let's go for the win, let's get that win kind of thing. England is exactly opposite, or at least I feel that they're a bit too defensive for my liking, because they were 100 for no loss on the final day, so they needed like 260 runs. So let's assume that they had 10 wickets in hand, 260 runs to get on a pretty flat deck. So Definitely. They should be getting that, right? And as good as India bowled, and India really played bowled well in the final innings. I think it comes down to a bit of the mentality of England team as well, that they didn't actually try to get those runs, because I was really afraid at one point that they are going to get that and it's going to be a world record chase, because it was there, right? Like the pitch was there, the 10 wickets.
It was there to be taken, actually. You're right, it was there to be taken, but I think, as you said very plainly, that, they didn't think about that. I think probably they were going for a draw rather than a win.
Yes.
And that, I think, was the thing on which they have lost the game.
Yeah.
But true, very true. And I feel that Joe Root is in question now, as far as the captaincy is concerned.
Yes.
He's in question now. Because, when you see that, the fast bowlers was doing nothing much, and he kept on continuing as a, bowling 37 overs of Anderson, and everybody bowling more than 30 overs, fast bowlers. That's quite a bit, actually. I think he had a specialist spinner, Moeen Ali, although he was giving 5 runs an over. But I think, he should have bowled little more of him in the early stages, where there was a good possibility, because he was getting that a little bit of a drift, and the rough marks were giving him that turn. Could have put a little more pressure, and that ease his fast bowlers a little, get them back when they were a little more pressure, and probably put the pressure then in a shorter spell.
Right.
So I think Joe Root needs to work his plan in a better way. Because, he just gave it in when the Indians were batting well. He just gave it in by just keep bowling the same bowlers all the time. And I think it was not a good move for England team.
Yeah, they didn't have a Shardul Thakur with a golden arm to get a breakthrough as well. So that was probably Joe Root's fault. Get a Shardul Thakur next time in the team.
Yeah. I think that's about it. And thank you once again, sir, for joining us. It's always good to have you. And to all watching our episodes, please subscribe to our channel, like and comment on our videos. Your feedback matters a lot. And we promise to continue providing good quality content. And until then, on behalf of Nikhil, Arshad sir, it's Siddharth saying goodbye.